Cool. This thing is ridiculously maneuverable. Look at that baby. This is ridiculously little maneuverable. This is like a fighter plane. Let's see for its top speed. It's not going to 350. That's okay. These engines, I think, work best at suborbital speeds anyway. Suborbital speeds, subsonic speeds. Actually, it is going to 300. That is not bad. We may want to trim the roll. Roll is quite extreme. Inactive on roll. So how about we get... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Put you at 25. There we go. That's doable, 25. That is less extreme than before. Okay. Whoa, not orbital. Chase, thank you. We're gonna do, just for fun, is see if we can put it down on that airstrip. Remember how I showed you that one last time? The airstrip from older versions of Kerbal, that is still there. Let's see if we can put this baby down now that we have our air brakes ready to go. There we go. This thing does have a weird little wobble. Do you see that little shift, that weave that we're doing? Is the downside of this landing strip. It is not that super. We will do fine though. We have our air brakes, we have our parachutes. The only downside is that landing gear that's a little bit close by the center, and of course not landing exactly well aligned. Oh kitty, please don't bother me right now. Kitty, I love you very much, but right now is not a good time. Right now is not a good time. Come on, come on, come on. Twist, twist. Perfectly on the runway. Whoa, God, Kerbal, don't be weird. You're making it weird, Kerbal. Perfectly on the runway. We all saw it. We all totally saw it. We all totally saw that. Perfect 3-point landing on the runway. At the very least, it didn't destabilize the moment we tried to touch down. Recover. Good enough. Good enough. I'm happy with it. So, this we will call the Dart. Oh, that's a click too many there. Because we didn't get anything from that, so I skipped through. Now, let's see, I want this little baby. Start retracted. Say I want this little baby as a sub-assembly. I don't think you can do that because you can select it, but you can't drop it in there, I think. See? Selected part is not attachable. If it's a sub-assembly, it needs to be attachable to something. So what I can do is I'll save the X1 Polar Jet. And go here. And open up the jet. Which should be, oh, SPH, there we go. X1 Polar Jet is available. I'm gonna grab that thing and move it like that. And since this was a test thing, it will now be called X1 the Dart. It's still an experimental craft, but here's the experiment we're going to do with it. I wanted to have rockets. I want there to be a rocket that boosts this up in the air. Now, as far as I know, there's no possible way we're going to be able to get this in an aerodynamic cone. In a fairing, I mean. Here's the problem with doing this, with doing this space shuttle style. Let's say naively you think, oh well, this is easy. You put a thing on there and we're done. This is gonna shoot up in the air. This will be aerodynamically unstable, as far as I'm aware. It's going to do some weird flips. So we're gonna have to figure out if there is a way, maybe this, that we can add rockets to it safely. Now this should be aerodynamically stable. I hope. I sincerely hope. And that gives it 2,469. That should get it quite high up. Let's test. Let's see if this will or will not murder Jebediah. Oh god, this is so much more stressful than when you can just revert your flights. Because normally I'm just here thinking, you know, well, give it a try, and if it explodes, revert, and I'll try it again, whatever. Okay. Okay. Oh god, oh god. That taught us a lesson. Oh. Wow. I'm gonna have to start using the abort button. I'm gonna have to define the abort action group. That was way too stressful. Hi, kitty. Hi, little buddy. I wonder if it's because I slowed down. We're gonna go to the VAB. You look away from it, you hear, okay, okay, oh god, oh god. Hey, that is the way we roll. Okay, the abort action group that we have. The abort action group is going to involve decoupling these, deploying that chute, deploying that chute, and extending these. So potentially that means, hi kitty, Potentially that means that these might be burning, full on burning, and I'm gonna deploy them and they're gonna shoot away like rockets. Take 2? I know the problem. We didn't have any... The only lift surfaces that we have are on the plane. We didn't have any fins on the actual rockets. Let's give it another go. Going to very carefully just hook it up like that. Make sure we have our mouse over the emergency abort. We have 3 wild rockets in full boost right now. I think it's safe to say that this entire idea is a failure. Whew. So this is why the abort action group is useful. It allows you to really get an abort situation. Now this is again a fun reason why I think that playing with no respawns and no reverts is fun, because with the revert, you just revert, you let it happen, whatever. Now, this is the first time I had to realize I need an abort sequence. I need to know how I'm going to get my Kerbal out of there safely. This system, though, is not working. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to do our rover mission. I wonder, let's see. Billy Bobster Kerman wants me to investigate milestone and museum on the Mun. Collect science at 2. It doesn't say it needs specifically the rover that got destroyed. So, the question is then, if we're just going to do our rover mission for now. Oh wait, that's Minimus. Where am I zooming in? It wants us to land specifically there. That should be doable. Let's make this a challenge. We are going to accept that rover mission and land our new rover right there. For the cash. Now, before we engage in that rover mission, we need to fix our design. If you remember, failure. We need to shorten these names because they're getting real weird. The Dick Grayson. The problem we had was that it hooked up to the battery there. So let's unhook this. And we are going to get a decoupler. Stack separator is fine as well. Oh god. Okay, look at that. It is attached to the separator right now. Let's see. But the wheels clip. Attached to the separator. Wheels do not clip. Perfect. This design worked before. Fire these, fire that one, and separate those. Separate these and fire that one, open that one up, and release the sky crane, and finally dump that one. This should be fine. Let's launch. As far as we know, the Delta V was correct. We managed to get to the Mun last time. Let's just do this mission while we... If you have any ideas how we can do our polar mission, let me know. I'd love to hear. let's get Jexus to the Mun. Wait, what? Oh! We failed the... Ah, man, we got penalty for 60,000. It does check that the rover was destroyed. Darn it. So that means that we know very specifically that it asks for a specific rover in the missions. Focus, focus, focus. No, 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 do not roll over, you weird thing. I call that a win. We're fine. Okay, that is still a problem with this design. It starts losing control at a certain altitude. Probably to do with the weird bulbous fairing we have. It is a win, yeah. The only downside is the 60,000 we lost, but okay. This is the downside of not having any control. We have remote control. We have probe control right now. But that is still less than what a Kerbal adds. Okay, ideally we would have gotten out of the atmosphere sooner than this. But with that weird middle stage right now, I'm just happy that we didn't crash right away. By the way, how is the audio doing? The voice compared to the rocket? Because I'm thinking I may need to turn down Kerbal Space Program's audio a little bit more. Nothing particularly special about this launch right now, except that I don't want to move too much above 70k. Usually people say the sooner you're out of the atmosphere, the better it is, but right now, since we were that high up anyway, I just want to coast and use as much delta V as we can on the actual circularization. Since we have 500 more delta V, and we do need about 2,000 to actually get into a circular orbit. So let's use what we have while we have it. Oh god, we forgot to add RCS. That's the fix we should have done. Remember that? That's the thing we talked about last time that we didn't have on this. Make sure we extend the solar panels. Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit because we're wasting. You can hear everything fine. You can understand that the rocket sounds a bit loud. Ah, I can get that. Just making a salad right now. Ooh. There we go. Just fast forwarded that a little bit. Yeah, this is why we said that we needed RCS to be able to rotate more easily. Set that baby as a target, and it's about here that we need to... Actually, it's farther away. It's going to be more along the lines of here. That we start getting... There we go. Encounter. And the moon's going to be there while I'm closest, so we're going to rotate a little bit more. Let's have a look at this from the Mun's perspective. Focus our view. This is actually excellent. This is about the type of encounter I want. Pretty close. Circularize there. The inclination is good, right around the equator. I am perfectly fine with this. Now, as before, I blasted a little bit because we don't have the RCS. That's the thing we forgot. So that means, sadly, that this bit's going to be a little bit boring while we wait for it to rotate before we can freeze it. I'm so ticked off that we lost Valentina Kerman. It was such a stupid mistake. See, I can fully understand when we lose somebody because we just completely miscalculated delta V, or on a descent path, or the re-entry heat is too much, or just something like that. You can think like, that was stupid, or that was dangerous, or I knew it was risky. At this point, it was like, I wasn't paying too much attention. Should have pulled up a little bit more. Fortunately, though, Huthor was right on it with that clip. Now, this mission as a whole, hopefully, should be relatively problem-free. As we talked about before, we actually have more delta V left now, more fuel left than the last time we tried this. We fixed the decoupling of the rover, so it should decouple appropriately. The only thing we hadn't really tested was the sky crane, except for the fact that, of course, it worked and it kept stable. Okay. Let's fast forward until we get to where we need to go. But I guess that this is just the risk inherent in making experimental planes. Let's slow down here. At about 24 seconds, we want to do that burn. So, a little bit of a burn to... There we go. Get us turned. Now we are going full blast. We need about 30 seconds of this burn. I'm gonna enjoy this little view of beautiful Kerbal as we leave it, the giant desert here. Don't think we've actually done some research on the desert biome. But that is where we will be going. Beautiful, beautiful Mun. So, watch that increase swifter and more swiftly. So we are going to throttle down a bit to... Whoop. There we go. Get to where we need to go. 90k. Going to be lowering that orbit to about... Whoa, not in the Mun, please. That is not what I want. I want this maneuver to put us at 15k or so. Sure, that's fine. And that is 1 day from now. There's no other missions that we're doing at the same time. So how about we just fast forward as we travel towards the Mun. There we go. Now, the interesting thing about physics that I learned is that Kerbal, on the one hand, has good physics. On the other hand, it simplifies things. In Kerbal Space Program, you're only ever in... Why is it? Oh, it's slowing down because of sphere of influence changes. In Kerbal Space Program, you're only ever in one sphere of influence. We're either in Kerbal or the Mun. Kerbal's sphere of influence or the Mun. That's it. Whereas in reality, actually, you'll be... Since these orbit around each other, they both exert a gravitational influence on each other. That's basically called the n-body problem. More than one body. Newtonian physics works really well when, like, a pool ball, a cue ball hits a pool ball, a billiard ball, and the other one crashes away, and it figures out how to deal with these two. But when you add a third body, an n-body problem, when three balls hit each other at the same time, the calculations actually start breaking down. You're not able to do that accurately. But there is mathematics to deal with that, to fix that. So Kerbin does basically the two-body problem. It's only ever your ship and one planet. Done. But there's something called, oh, what's it called again? Principia. After Principia Mathematica, Newton's beautiful, wonderful book on mathematics and physics. But that introduces n-body physics. So that means that while you're in the Kerbin orbit, you will still feel a little bit of the pull of the moon, whatever. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That will affect your path and change your orbit. Okay, keep an eye on the apoapsis. That is lowering, lowering, lowering. Now our periapsis is lowering. We want to be very careful to get that periapsis to 14,000 or so. Excellent. That is just fine. And at this point, at the periapsis, I want to circularize this baby. I'm hoping that I'm gonna be in range of that polar satellite, so that we don't lose connection. Actually, it is about time maybe that we... Oh no, these two should take care of our connection needs. See, let's check. See, the polar satellite is connecting us to where we need to be. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong way around. Again, this is where we needed RCS. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. Time to periapsis is 2 minutes. Let's close this baby. 1 minute. So I want to make sure to circularize this right about here, right when we hit that periapsis. Because the more we burn before the periapsis, the more we lower our periapsis, which is not what we want to do right now. So we're gonna slow down again. This is very inefficient burning. I should have done this in one burn. So we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna wait until we hit about our periapsis. There we go. And now we're gonna do that burn, which just about circularizes us. So, where are we going to land? Let's... It would be nice to land in this crater, but we'd be landing on the edge. I don't want to risk that. Here's the thing. We don't exactly know all the biomes yet. We haven't been able to scan them. We do have the scan, the altimetry scan, but we don't know the biomes. So, let's check signs here now. Mun landed. We have done the Midland craters. That's good. Craters are very... might have been something like this. So, what we can do is simply go here. This might be Midlands, Highlands, I don't know. But it